What's going on, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I'm doing my top 10, top 13. That's right, it's Halloween, or still October, it counts. Top 13 suggested buys or reads, or essential buys or reads for the month of November of 2022 for the graphic novels that are coming out. This is a hard list to put together, even with 13. So let's get started. Before going any further, I just want to remind people to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying what you're seeing. And ring that bell for notifications that lets you know when our videos go live. Alright, so we have 13 books, lots of books to talk about, all coming out in different weeks. And as always, sometimes books get delayed. So for example, I already suggested, I strongly suggested getting the Fables box set that comes out this month. But I suggested it back in July, so that still counts. And there are 13 this time around. And I would love to know what yours are, so leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of my list, what you would take out, what you would replace, what you have already read that you don't agree with. All right, but let's go ahead and get started. I said what I said. Miles Morales Spider-Man Omnibus, Volume 1. This is the latest printing, but this is for anybody that has ever missed these stories that weren't able to get them in Ultimate format or in Omnibus format. This collects Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 1 through 28, 16.1, Spider-Man 1 through 5, Cataclysm Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 3, Ultimate Spider-Man 200, Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man 1 through 12, and material from Ultimate Fallout number 4. It's the books that have been, this is the third printing of it, but it's been rebranded to Miles Morales Spider-Man Omnibus. And Brian Michael Bendis, I thought it was a fun introduction to this character. I read this book in one day. I did not want to stop reading it. Granted, the last third, it was still Bendis doing Bendis things, but I don't know. I just found the character really likable. And the art by Sarah Kelly, just beautiful. 100% recommending that one. Hayao Miyazaki, Shuna's Journey. This is the legendary Hayao Miyazaki. And this book has never come over here. This is a new manga about a prince on a quest for a golden grain that would save his land. Never before published in English. Interesting enough, being published by second book, so good for them. I believe Alex Duboc DeWitt is the translator, $27.99. It is a graphic novel, so I don't think it's a hardcover. Also from the World of Manga, No Longer Human, complete edition. $29.99, published by Vertical. I will say, if you suffer from depression, maybe not this one. I'm without going into spoilers, if you suffer from deep depression, because I have a lot of viewers that do, and they always ask me, is this a good book to get? And sometimes books about depression have a hopeful message. This is a deep spiral down into the mind of somebody that no longer feels human, and that's what this is about. And it really happened to Osamu Dazai. This classic tale, but it's retold in this format by Hidekichi Matsumoto, who is both the writer and artist in here. It's a tough read, it's a deep read, but I think for the people that have been wanting it, I've talked about how the third volume was out of print and it went for $300. Yeah, when manga goes out of print, it gets crazy, but definitely recommending this one. But just be aware that it doesn't have the happiest story in here. Bird King. I added this to my list because I love that cover. I don't know what this is about. This is Daniel Friedman, and the illustrations are by Crom, published by Dark Horse. It's an original dark fantasy graphic novel, epic adventure and magic. I love that king, the Skull King up there. I love just the look to this. It looks freaking awesome. I'm in. I don't know what this is, but I'm in. Yeah, sometimes I add things on my list that I haven't read that I'm like, I got it. Like this next book, We Live. I added this on the list. This is published by Aftershocks, collecting the first 5 issues plus the free comic book day story, We Live the Last Days. Roy Miranda and Inaki Miranda are the 2 co-creators of the book. It all takes place in the year 2084. For the last year, for actually over a year, one of my Patreons, Ryan, has been asking me, have I read this yet? And there was a trade paperback. And I'm like, I'll get to it. I forgot about it. And then he reminded me a couple of weeks ago. And I looked it up, and sure enough, there's a hardcover coming. So I'm like, all right, this one's on you then, man. But looking at the cover and looking at some of the internal artwork, I'm like, okay, I gotta read this. This looks really interesting. So it contains the entire first story arc, all 5 issues of that, and the free comic book day. Come on, you knew it was on the list. The Flash by Mark Waid Omnibus Volume 1? Of course. Collecting The Flash 62 to 91, annuals 4 through 6, sorry. Green Lantern 30 through 31, 40, and Flash Special number 1, and Justice League Quarterly number 10. This is Mark Waid's, the beginning of his Flash run. Oh my gosh, Greg LaRocque and Mike Wieringo were the main artists on the book at the time. And of course I'm recommending this. This is the beginning to what is known as the greatest Flash stories. And when I'm asked what the best Flash stories are, I always tend to go with Geoff Johns. But I always make this note. It's the same question when I'm asked what the better stories are. Don Rosa's Duck stories or Carl Barks. We would have no Don Rosa without Carl Barks. We would have no Geoff Johns without Mark Waid. The Geoff Johns, everything you loved about it, all those mythos, all those things that Geoff Johns took and ran with, dad joke, ran with, wouldn't have happened without Geoff Johns. I mean, he set up so many things. Oh, the beautiful story between Wally and Barry and the loophole. 100% recommending it. Absolute Dark Knight's Metal. Recommending this. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. It collects the Dark Knight's Metal 1 through 6, Batman Lost 1, Metal Director's Cut number 1, and the Dark Knights Rising the Wild Hunt. Now, this one's 328 pages and $125. I'm mainly recommending this one for the people that enjoy oversized artwork. All of this will be collected in an omnibus format later on next year. And there's also an Absolute Death Metal, which is the follow-up to this, so don't be confused by both of those. But I know I have a lot of viewers that love oversized art, and Greg Capullo and Danny Mickey's art is just pure awesomeness in this. And it's a really interesting story. Berserk Volume 41. This is going to be hard because, we lost Kentaro Miura in May of 2021. Unexpectedly. At such a young age. It's not fair. He left behind this final volume to cap off his 30-plus year commitment to this story. And it is my honor to get to read it and to talk about it. I'll see if I can get an advanced copy of it. It's going to be hard to read this because it's like saying goodbye to a friend. I realize the story's going to continue. It's going to be without him. And while the journey might be the same getting us there, it just won't be Miura. And it breaks my heart. And yeah. It's going to be a hard goodbye, that's for sure. Next up, the Incal slipcase. This is a new, beautiful slipcase hardcover edition. I realize the price is $149.99, but that was the price of the original slipcase, which is huge and beautiful. If you want to see what that looks like, you can check it out on the channel. I'll leave the link above. But this is the newest printing with a new print of a piece of art from when John is falling down. That scan that they've been using for years apparently wasn't the perfect scan. So they got the new scan from the museum and they're publishing it as a print here. So that is very cool. If you missed out on it, it's a masterpiece. The next book, Love and Rockets, First 50 Classic 40th Anniversary Box Set. On my channel, I've talked about how the Hernandez brothers, their style of writing and art, or their style of writing really didn't mesh well with me. And I tried twice to read Love and Rockets, and it just wasn't for me. So why in the world am I recommending a $400 box set to people? Granted, you don't have to purchase it, right? I'm just telling you to read it, check out the trades first. I'm recommending it because of two things. I've realized the importance of this book and how much it built the careers of others, such as Terry Moore with Strangers in Paradise, and how many people look to this as the foundation of their love of comics. The second reason is because it's Fantagraphics. When these books go out of print, anybody can tell you they get ridiculous amounts of money. So if you're even vaguely interested in this and you've set money aside, I would say go ahead and purchase it. If you're going into it completely blind, I would definitely say go and read the trades first, because I'm going to give it one more try, because I've talked to people whose opinion I respect and are very similar to mine, that said it gets so much better if you read it in this format. Because the Love and Rockets collections, I think they're collecting books not in chronological order, but in the order they see fit. But they told me, they kind of gave me a guide as to how to read them. And also it gets better by volume 2. So I'll give it one more shot. Still on the fence about this one myself, but I'm definitely telling people that were vaguely interested in it to check it out before it goes out of print. This for sure. And it was hard because this was between Sarah and Sentient, but I went with Sarah. I think it's one of my favorite Garth Ennis stories. Is up there with Preacher, Punisher, and his Hellblazer run, but this was phenomenal. Sarah by Garth Ennis, Steve Epting, and Elizabeth Breitweiser doing the colors, collecting all 6 issues of it's a story of a Nazi-occupied Russia in the year 1942, and a group of women go in, and they're all Russian snipers. They're all female Russian snipers going in and taking out the Nazi invaders. Oh, man. And he did so much research for this, because I told him when I interviewed him, I didn't even know about this. And he was like, yeah, I didn't know there was a group of elite female snipers until I watched the documentary. And then he went on and did a bunch of research, and this is where Sarah came from. So I'm glad this is getting a deluxe hardcover treatment. I assume it's going to be the dimensions of if you own TKO books, they're oversized. They're taller than trade paperbacks and hardcovers. XFactor by Peter David, Omnibus Volume 2. Of course, this is on there. Collecting the XFactor Investigations era. So Madrox 1 through 5 kicking off this post-House of M story arc. And then XFactor 1 through 20, 21 through 24, 25 through 39. It's a big book. The Quick and the Dead one-shot that's focusing on Quicksilver. Layla Miller special. She joins the team after House of M. And She-Hulk number 31. So it's got the crossover during Secret Invasion with She-Hulk. 1,128 pages. $125. Peter David's masterpiece. This is what XFactor Investigation was what I always wanted. And we know we have a Volume 3 coming. We have enough room for a Volume 4. So, oh man, this is such an awesome era. Ryan Sook doing some of the artwork in here. Pablo Raimondi doing a lot of the artwork. But yes, if you've not read this, such a hidden gem that no longer hidden because it's getting an omnibus, and you wonderful folks can now see what beauty I find in it. And speaking of beauty, the way we're wrapping up the list and the reason we're doing a 13, New Warriors Omnibus Volume 2. Of course, if you paid attention to my channel, my list, $125 for 1,136 pages. And oh my gosh, yes, all day, every day. Collecting the beginning of Derek Robertson's arc. So you have issues of New Warriors 27 through 53, Annuals 3 and 4, and Night Thrasher Ford Control, the 4-issue mini, X-Force 32 to 33 on Kenny Omar Talk Pretty One Day. That's the Child's Play crossover. Night Thrasher number 1, the A story, because then Kurt Busiek came in and wrote the rest of the issues. And then 11 through 12, and that's the Time and Time Again story arc, along with Nova 6 through 7, New Warriors Ashcan Edition number 1, material for Marvel Comics Presents 122, 159, and 163, and Marvel Hot A Special number 2. The Return of the Sphinx, the huge crossover that forever shakes the team to a core. This is the finale of Fabian Niciesa's run. We have enough for a Volume 3. It's actually during that time that the New Warriors are labeled a Spider-Man title. But these were some great stories. And don't let it fool you that because they came out from the 90s, they're horrible, or, I think they're wonderful, and I cannot wait to put it on my shelf. Some of the best stories are in this omnibus. Now, when these books come out, check out our sponsors. If you live in Europe and are interested in buying and pre-ordering Omnis, then you should definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC books within the EU, flat rate shipping of €12 for all EU countries, bulletproof packaging, and all emails will be answered within 24 hours. They offer a huge selection of out-of-print books. Just head over to waltzcomicshop.com for more great deals and rare titles. And for a limited time, you can use the code NEARMINTCON, all one word at the checkout, to get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over €40. Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. This episode is brought to you by cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my top 13 list of books coming out in November. Let me know in the comments down below what your top 5, top 6, top 13, top 10 are. And let me know what you think about the list. Check out our Patreon and Spreadshop, amazing ways to support the channel. And thank you to our existing patrons. Could not be doing this without you all. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.